Hey class. So in our video for today, we're actually going to be looking in our binder and taking notes there. So give this a little pause and find your binder, page 195. And when you're ready, unpause it and we will get started here. So on this page 195, we've got a little table at the top that talks about some application problems and some keywords and some key ideas to think about. So when we're doing application problems for systems, we're usually going to write an equation in one of two forms, either slope-intercept form, so we'll write something that goes y equals mx plus b, or standard form. So we'll write something that goes ax plus by equals c. And this is really the first time we're actually writing equations in standard form. And they turn out to be pretty easy to write. You just have to know what to look for. So for slope-intercept form, we've written these before. Anytime you see something where you've got like an initial fee, a one-time fee, or a starting amount, that's your y-intercept, and you would see something about per, each, every, that would be your slope. So we'll see some of those. And for standard form, you're typically going to see problems where they have like two different items and their costs, or how many you have, and a total number of items. Sometimes we'll see these in related to some coin problems. We might get into a mixture problem here. And so that's kind of what we're going to be looking for. If you look at problem 4 right below this table here, it says determine whether slope-intercept or standard form best models the situations described below. So let's see if we can see anything where there's an initial fee and a rate, which would be like the slope, or maybe we see a couple different items or a total number of items type situation. So for A, need to install some electric outlets. ComEd charges you $30 for a service call and $45 per hour for labor. Spark Energy charges you $45 for a service call plus an additional $40 per hour. Well, a couple things I'm noticing. Those are my slopes. And the $30 for a call, $45 for a call, those are like the starting amounts, the initial fee. So for this one, especially that keyword per there, these are going to be slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b. We don't have to write the equations this time, we'll get to that. In B, a business rents inline skates and bicycles. Business had a total of 25 rentals, so total 25 rentals. Inline skates cost $15 per day to rent, and bikes cost $30 per day, and they make a total of $450. All right, so that's an interesting one because you still see the word per, so that sort of thinks slope there. But then we see totals. So I don't see anything about a y-intercept. There's no like initial amount, initial cost. Instead, it's like a cost for skates and a cost for bikes, so two different items and their costs. And then it also gave us a total number of rentals and a total cost. In that case, we would do standard form. So ax plus by equals c. Part C, local coffee shop, club membership, $5 for a yearly membership and $1 per cup of coffee. If they choose not to join, it's $2 per cup. So in that case, that's a slope-intercept because we've got $5 and $1 per cup of coffee. So that's your slope and your y-intercept, or a slope with no y-intercept. So this is y equals mx plus b. All right, we're going to skip ahead a little bit here and turn to the next page, I believe. So page 196 here. And actually, problem 7 is similar to the one we just did. Local coffee shop has a membership. It costs $50 this time for a yearly membership and $3 per cup of coffee. If a person chooses not to join the club, it costs $5 per cup. So we're supposed to write a system and figure out the amount spent as a function of the number of cups. And so remember last chapter when we were talking about how to define your variables, we were looking at something that looked like a rate. Okay, $3 per cup of coffee. That gives away your variables. x variable and the y variable. So the y variable is before per, so dollars, $3. So my y variable is dollars. And then per cup of coffee, the after part is the x, so cups of coffee. Okay, so let's see, the club member. If you're a club member, our dollar cost, and maybe we should write that word there, dollar cost, would be $50 plus 3 per cup of coffee. So that's mx plus b. So my slope is the 3, so 3x plus 50. Y equals 3x plus 50. And then my non-club member equation, my total cost would be, well, I'm not having an initial fee, but it costs $5 per cup. So my rate is $5 per cup, so 5x plus 0, because there's no startup cost for the because you're not doing a membership. All right, so we have these two equations. Now we're solving the system above to determine the number of cups of coffee. So I want you to pause the video and try to solve this. We have these two equations, y equals 3x plus 50 and y equals 5x. So maybe I'll even write them here. Y equals 3x plus 50 and y equals 5x. All right, so use what we know about substitution or elimination to solve this. Pause the video and then we will talk through the solution. Okay, how'd you do? So we've got y equals for both, so we set them equal to each other. 5x equals 3x plus 50. It's substitution. Basically, we're plugging that 5x there. And you end up with x equals 25, and then when you plug that back in, you get y equals 125. Let's talk about what that means. All right? That means their costs are the same. That's the number of cups of coffee where the cost would be the same. So we would write at 25 cups of coffee, both cost $125. So if you're someone who's going to buy more than 25 cups of coffee, you're better off joining the membership. If not, then you are better off just paying for your coffee and not joining the membership. All right, let's try another. This time we are on page 197, problem 10. It says 14 pairs of shoes and 12 t-shirts cost $1,061. 8 pairs of shoes and 9 t-shirts cost $639.50. How much does each pair of shoes and t-shirt cost? So here we see a problem where the question, how much does each pair of shoes and t-shirts cost, that gives away the variables. Each pair of shoe and each pair of t-shirt cost is what we're solving for. So x would be cost of, and it doesn't really matter which is which, shoes comes first, so cost of shoes, and y would be cost of t-shirt. So in this case, we've got 14 pairs of shoes and 12 t-shirts cost $1,061. Right? I don't know how much they cost, but I know when I buy a pair of shoes, I buy 14 pairs of shoes, I would multiply that by the price of shoes. We're saying the price of shoes is x. So I could write an equation like this: 14x plus 12y. The 14x represents the shoes times the price. The 12y represents the number of t-shirts times the price. And if I add up that total, I end up with 1,061. I'll do the same thing for my second equation. 8 shoes, so 8x, plus 9 t-shirts, 9y, equals $639.50. So those are my two equations. I'm going to copy them down below here, and we're going to solve this with elimination this time, because none of the variables would get alone very easily. And we'll need a calculator. So if you don't have a calculator, pause it and get a calculator out. If you want to try it on your own, you could pause the video. I'm going to work through it here. So I need to multiply both equations to get either the x's or the y's to eliminate. And with this one, it might take you a second to figure out what could be a good thing to multiply by. I see the 12 and the 9, and I know those both go to 36. So I'm going to multiply the top by -3 and the bottom by 4 to get me to a new equation. On top, that'd be -42x minus 36y equals, and then I have to do 1061 times -3, and you get -3183. For the bottom equation, I would get 32x plus 36y equals, and then I have to do $639.50 times 4, and that's 2,558. And now I add the two equations together, so that's -10x equals, and that's 3,183, or -3,183 plus 2,558, and you get 625, which means when I divide by, -625, -10 divided by -10, I would get x equals $62.5. That's going to be my cost of shoes. Then to find the cost of t-shirts, right, we will take that and we'll plug it in. And we're going to plug it into x in either equation. I'll do the bottom one since those numbers are a little bit smaller. So here we'll get 8 times 62.5 plus 9y equals 639.50. So pause it, take a second to solve that, and we'll see what you get. All right, so $15.50 is what you get for y. So I can kind of write my final answer as shoes cost $62.50 per pair, and t-shirts cost $15.50 per pair. Well, not really per pair, $15.50 each, per each. Okay, so we're gonna stop there. We'll do a lot of practice with these in class, but hopefully got a little bit of a preview here. Thanks.